Welcome back to Channel Name. In the dark of night, truly terrifying stories lie hidden, waiting to be told. Today, I will take you into the world of the most chilling experiences, from mysterious stalkings, encounters with strangers, to unsolved mysteries in murder cases. All are true stories told by those who lived through them. Turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and get ready to step into a world of fears that cannot be explained. Story 1. The Shadow Watcher on the Farm. A true chilling story. Have you ever felt like you were being watched? That feeling when it sneaks into every peaceful moment can turn a safe place into a never-ending nightmare. This is the story of a family living on a remote farm, where darkness is not just the absence of light, but something that lurks, threatening their every step. I was 19, living with my mother and sister on a secluded farm far from the nearest town. Surrounded by endless fields, the sound of the wind rustling through the grass, and the distant calls of birds. It was a serene picture that seemed unbreakable. But everything changed when my sister began to talk about a strange car following her on her way home. It was a light blue car, an old sedan, that first appeared when she left her office. At first, it was just a few close encounters tailing her for a while before turning onto another road. But as time went on, it became more persistent, following her almost all the way home. My sister said every night was the same. She had to drive in circles, trying every possible route to escape the car. Sometimes she would take a wrong turn, driving farther than usual just to avoid being followed. My mother grew worried and advised her to call the police. My sister wanted to, but since she had forgotten to write down the license plate, everything was based on vague descriptions of the sedan and its driver, people we had never seen before. A few days passed and nothing happened. We thought maybe the car had given up. Then one morning, as I was preparing to leave for work, a shoebox suddenly appeared on our doorstep. It wasn't from a delivery service, nor was it a regular letter. I opened it, and inside was an old VHS tape. Curious, I put the tape into the player. What appeared on the screen made my heart stop. It was footage from a hidden camera showing the entire road in front of our house, the one my sister often drove down. From the moment she left home to when she returned, every moment was clearly captured. This wasn't a sensational video or a horror movie. It was reality. I saw my sister clearly wearing her work clothes, doing normal things, but observed in an unsettling cold manner. Not only that, but in the footage there was the shadowy figure of a stranger faintly visible behind the bushes, hiding near the edge of the field. We called the police, presenting the VHS tape as evidence. But they said there wasn't much they could do without identifying the camera's location or any direct threats being made. After that, strange tapes continued to show up at our doorstep. Each tape recorded different days, with scenes so real it kept our family awake at night. We lived in constant dread, not knowing who that shadow was, what they were waiting for, or where this would go. Every strange noise, every shadow passing by made our hearts tighten in fear. And when the night fell, we could only pray that we were strong enough to face those dark shadows. If you've ever felt watched or encountered inexplicable events, share your story. In this world full of mysteries, awareness and vigilance are necessary to protect yourself and your loved ones. Story 2, The Mystery in the Craigslist Rental House. I was a college student who had just moved to a strange city for my studies. With time running short and no knowledge of the area, I found a place to rent through Craigslist. a website that many warned about, but I thought I'd be careful. The rental house was located in a quiet area near the school, and the landlord Peter seemed like a polite and considerate person. I was also told there would be a roommate who studied at the same school, but they hadn't moved in yet. During the first week I lived alone in the spacious, quiet house, which felt a bit cold because most of the furniture hadn't been set up. The room I was staying in was on the lower floor, and upstairs there was a locked area only accessible by an outdoor staircase right next to my room. Peter was gone for several days due to work, and while I felt a bit lonely, I was also at ease. However, in my room there were exposed wires and a wardrobe with broken doors held up by a wooden beam. It looked old and somewhat strange. I didn't know why, but I felt uneasy whenever I looked at it. Then strange things started happening. Peter often sent messages or had offhand remarks with a strange tone, both polite and evasive, sometimes revealing private things that made me feel uncomfortable. That wasn't all. I noticed that my Facebook account had photos of me that I didn't know about, me sitting on the sofa working on my laptop, even one of me standing in a towel. Photos that were taken without my knowledge and without permission. The scariest part was one day when my roommate accidentally discovered a small device like a camera hidden behind the wires in my wardrobe. We covered it with tape and planned to confront Peter when he returned. That night, I woke up in the middle of the night and saw my door slightly open, with the shadow of someone silently stepping out of the wardrobe. Everything was blurry under the faint lights, and before I could react, the person disappeared into the darkness. The next morning, I watched Peter's movements and found that he had just come home and went straight to his room. I bravely confronted him about the strange behavior. Peter initially denied it, but then he confessed that he had secretly been watching me, saying he just wanted to protect me. The creepiness of it all made it impossible for me to continue living in that house. I called the police and moved out immediately. This story is not just a warning about renting houses online, but also a reminder of the hidden dangers that can be present even in the safest place you think you know, your own home. Story 3. The mystery of the night police at the Australian station. I am a police officer working in a large city in Australia, and my job often takes me to complex areas filled with crime and chaos. One typical Monday afternoon turned into a nightmare that I will never forget. Around midday in the police station area, a young woman appeared in a state of panic. She didn't have any tattoos on her face, which was rare for this region, so I immediately took notice. She said she wanted to speak with a detective, but when I offered to listen to her story, she became confused, frightened, and at times even broke down in tears. She pulled out a VHS tape, an outdated item, and placed it on the counter. The story began from there. She explained that a few months ago, while jogging around the neighbourhood, she stumbled upon a pile of old discarded items by the roadside, among which was an old VCR player. She took it home, intending to sell it on eBay. One day, when she tried to turn on the VCR, she discovered there was already a tape inside one she had no knowledge of. When she watched it, she saw footage of a woman tightly bound in a small room. The camera angle was from the perspective of the perpetrator. The tape was filled with heavy breathing, pleading for mercy mixed with desperate cries and horrific screams echoing through the footage. The scene made me hold my breath, the horror creeping into my mind with each passing second. The woman tied up begged to be saved, while the sound of the cameraman grew tense, and at one point he even pulled out a knife. I'll admit, after watching the tape, I felt overwhelmed and unsure of what to do. I took the tape to the command room, where my superior, an experienced officer, reviewed it and dismissed it, saying the footage was too far-fetched and didn't resemble a real crime scene. He believed it was just a homemade horror film, not worth investing time in. I tried to convince him, but there was little result. The woman refused to take the tape back and just wanted to dispose of it. I decided to continue investigating on my own, researching the SEC Camera Club, the name written on the tape. But there were no leads, only a few theories about underground film groups or horror black tapes. What was terrifying was not knowing how many people had already become victims, and whether the tape was still circulating in underground circles, waiting to be spread further. This story remains unfinished, like a wound that never heals in my heart, reminding me that sometimes the true horrors are not out there far away, but could be hiding right before our eyes in the dark corners we've never dared to look into. Thank you for watching today's chilling stories. If you found this video haunting and want to explore more true stories, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next installments. And if you've ever had a scary experience you'd like to share, leave a comment below. Who knows, your story might become the next haunting tale we tell. See you in the next videos, where the darkness still holds many unexplained mysteries.